Hey guys, so now we'll be walking through the hiring automation where we can explore how to eliminate some of the biggest hiring pain points that companies face. So we'll be using Airtable where we can have a dashboard, a simple interface to see everything about the candidate throughout the hiring process, right? All the different stages. And we also have this interface where we can see the person's details at one glance, right? All on the person's details. Right, so all of the data is stored inside Airtable's table, right? Where we have their names, their roles, the roles that are open for interview, right? Open for hiring, right? Roles that are available for hiring, the interviewer, whether or not they fit our culture, and also a case study. So most of the companies nowadays still hire manually, where applications come in from everywhere, right? From LinkedIn, from JobStreet, from Hiredly, so the HR team or the hiring manager often has to sort through them one by one, right? Going through LinkedIn, going through JobStreet, which takes up a lot of time, and applications get lost, emails get lost, and updates are inconsistent, right? And by the time HR responds, right, good candidates usually are already hired somewhere else, or where this sort of confusion in your flows lead to slow hiring, poor candidate experience, and a lot of wasted time in general. So this is why we decided to consolidate everything into Airtable and have the hiring pipeline built inside of Airtable through this whole system, right? Stage 1, where there are new people, and these are the approved ones already, right? Just from a click of a button, you'll be approving them to the next stage, and you'll be sending up follow-up emails, etc. So for example, for this one, if I click approve, you'll be missing from this stage. It has already moved to the screen stage, okay? And I'll also be receiving an email, right? Yep, so I'll be receiving an email to see what are the next steps, right? So where the hiring manager will be emailing you and to complete the next form and have an ID to fill up, right? We will also have an internal email that's sent to a hiring manager or the HR manager, right? Where it just notifies them that there's someone that applied for this recent role and reason for joining us and their resume, etc., right? So these are some of the forms that we've created for hiring, right? So first one, which is join our team, which is the initial form that they'll have to fill up to go into this, to enter to our hiring dashboard. So this is one, where it looks something like this, right? So we have, have some comments or some words to give the candidate to direct them on what to fill, etc. Their names, their email, just basically information capture on the candidate's info, right? Their resume, etc. And all of this will show up inside of the Airtable, right? So something like this. Okay, their resume as well. After this, right, they are sent this email where they are required to fill up this form. I think this is not, wait, it needs to be open in this account. Right, which is the next form, which is this culture fit form, right? So they're able to select their ID, right? So in the email, we actually ask them to select the ID, which is an ID that's generated based on the person's name and their phone number, right? So it's the first two letters of the first name, last two letters of the last name, and also the last two numbers of their phone number, right? So they'll just have to fill in this form, this culture fit form. So they have to look for their own name, DA, right? So I'll be filling this with some dummy data, right? Let me just go through them. So I've already filled in with some dummy data, right? Some lorem ipsum data, and attached some files as well, which will be used because these are the IQ tests as well as the MBTI test that we require them to fill up for the application, right? So we also ask some questions on their expectations of this current job as well as their role in their previous jobs, right? And whether or not we can reach out to their supervisor, right? So if we just click submit here. So now if we go to the culture fit table that we've created earlier, we will be populated in here because this form is connected to the culture fit table. And with this, we've also created the interface, right? So here under the culture fit interface, we'll also be showing here. So in just one glance, the hiring manager can see all of the details on their previous job expectations, responsibilities, as well as their problems, supervisor names, right? As well as their tests, the test scores, etc. We also have included the earlier stage, right? So that the person doesn't have to jump back to the previous stages, right? So from here, they can also click approve or reject, right? So to further the person to the next stage, right? So for example, if they click approve, right, then they'll now move to the approved applicant stage, right, which is here. They'll then be showing up in this interview stage where during the interview session, the hiring manager doesn't have to jump between files. They can just look at this interface and see whether or not this candidate is a good fit for their company, and can just once again click reject or approve for the candidate, right? So actually, after you've clicked approve for the culture fit, we will also send an email to the candidate. Right now, it's just sending it to myself because this is a dummy account, a demo account. So we'll just say you've passed the assessment, book a call within the next 3 days. So this will bring us to a Zcal calendar, right? But this is just a demo account, right? So the real one would be my own calendar, right? So where they can start booking a calendar, right? Book a session for the interview session, right? Yep. So this is all possible because of this automations tab inside of Airtable, which is very much useful. So we have a few automations here, right? The first one being sending an email after the change in the hiring stage. So that each time we actually click approve or approving this person, for example, it'll actually change their hiring stage inside this table, right? So under this table, we have quite a few hiring stages, right? So we have, let's see, application in review, rejected, approved, all the way to first interview in progress and first interview rejected, right? So earlier at this stage, right, in stage 1, after we've clicked approved, we'll move them to the second case study, application approved, right, from 1.0 to 1.2, right? So after application has been approved, and we'll have to send them a culture fit. After application has been approved, we'll automatically send the culture fit email to them, right, which is through this automation right here. So after it's been approved, we'll update it to application approved, and we'll send an email, so which is something like this earlier. Something like this, right? So we put it as, hi, the person's name. My name is the interviewer's name, which is also set before, right? We have this interviewer table, which is static. It will not change, right? We have their email, their booking calendar link as well as their position, right? So, hi, my name is the interviewer's name, the position of Sigma School, for example, right? So we'll ask them to fill up a form, which is the culture fit form. You need your ID to fill up the form, which is a unique number, right? Unique set of words, which is based off their names and their phone number. We also actually included a case study deadline for them to finish. But in this case, it can apply to the culture fit form or the case study form. So depending on what you're feeling like. Previously, we used to use a lot of case studies to actually evaluate our employees. But recently, we found out that culture fit is actually a lot more important, because if they do not match our culture or our values, no matter, even if they have the skill, they may not actually fit being in our team, right? They will not function to their optimum level, right? So yeah, this is just a template email to send to them. And we have an internal email to inform us that someone has applied for this role and this is their reason for joining, etc., right? So in any case, during the interface stage, in any case, if you do click reject here, right, they'll be changed from the their hiring stage will be updated to become application rejected, right? And they'll be sent an email to say thank them for applying, and this decision does not reflect their quality of work, and encourage them to keep in touch, right? So something like this, right? They'll be sent an email, right? So just to tell them that, just to inform them that they have been rejected, because in most cases, most companies nowadays, they do not even send this rejection email. They just straight up ghost the candidates, which can be quite demotivating for the candidate, especially if they've applied for many places and all of the places are ghosting them. So this kind of message tells them that they did not pass through the interview or this application, right? So all of this is just similar emails in case where they've been rejected, right? If they've been rejected here, or if they've been rejected here or under interview, they'll all be sent this email. Slightly different versions of this email, but they'll all be sent this email, right? So as I've shown earlier also, right, we have the stage where after we've approved them, they'll be sent an email to, so say, proceed to the interview stage, to book a call. So this is the email that helps to tell them to book a call. So let's just generate a preview. Yeah, so it'll be something like this. Hi, the name, do some passing, right? Book a call within the next 3 days under this calendar, right? Which is another Zcal link. Yeah, just to get to know them a little better. So to let all of this work in tandem, right, you need these few tables, right? Number one is the hiring tables. So this is a table for hiring managers, to just store information on the applicants, right? And you have another table which is roles. You have roles for candidates to apply for. So you have let me just create this view, clear this view, right? So you have the name of the role, the description of the role, whether or not the role is available, as well as the location, type, and employment. Right, so all of this will let you put into the form later on. So you also have the interviewer table, which is similar to the roles table, where these two will remain static, right? So you have the interviewer's name, right? In many cases, it will be the manager's name for the position that they are going to be interviewing for, right? For example, all marketing should go under this guy, all operations should go under this guy, for example. And as I mentioned, this is the culture fit form earlier, and this is the case study form, right? It's a separate thing, right? We did not set this up because a case study form would have a lot of it depending on the roles that you are creating, right? For example, we have so many roles open, you need this many case study forms for candidates to fill up, right? So under automations, right, we will need to update the hiring manager when a form is submitted. So depending on what role they're applying for, right? Let's say if they applied for a marketing role, for example, it should go under marketing person, right? A marketing hiring manager. So the way we can do this, I've not set it up here, but we can always use a conditional logic. So when the form is submitted, the role applied, right? The name of the role applied should, if it contains marketing, right? If it contains the word marketing or anything, it should go to this person, right? Based on the Airtable record ID under this guy's name, right? So this guy would be this guy, right? You have to put this guy's name, copy, and just paste it here, right? So it will go straight to this interviewer. And you can repeat the same process for, let's say, operations lead or social media, for example, or finance roles, whatever you want, right? So you can add in more roles, their name and their calendar, and you just need to duplicate this condition, right? Otherwise, if let's say role applied, name contains, let's say, operations, should update record under the hiring table, where Airtable record ID, and you choose the field first stage interviewer, right? First stage interviewer will be this guy, will be Jason, right? Because he's in charge of all the operations, for example. So you can duplicate this role for the other departments that you have, for example, finance, HR, for example. Okay. This is because when candidates fill up the form, right, they are able to choose what role they're applying for. They're able to choose what role they're applying for. So you can also set based on the roles that are open, right, you're able to set the tools, set the wordings properly, right? So all of the marketing roles, you can have a bracket marketing or bracket operations, bracket HR. So it'll all go to the appropriate interviewer, right? Next, we have these, which is the case study and culture fit updates, right? When the status is updated, right? So we won't be talking about case study because this is, we did not set it up for this demo, so culture fit. So similar to the case study, so we have also the culture fit updates where if the status is changed, right? The culture fit status here, right? If the culture fit status is changed, it would then update a record inside the people table, right? Which is this table where we store all the employee data, right? So when this status is changed through this interface, right? When we do press approve or anything, it would then change the hiring stage as well, right? And when the hiring stage is changed, it will lead to the sending of the emails, right? So similarly to rejected as well, you update to case study rejected, and it'll also update the email and send out the rejection email. So this is the automation to send the email, right? So we also have an automation, a script, where we will run this script, a code, right? Lines of code, where we will be merging all of the data from the forms, right, into something like this, right? Where we merge all of their previous job expectations and their answers all into one form, right? And all of this form is here. Let me just go here. So all of this form will be called details of culture fit or details of person, right? Details of person. But this one is empty, but let me see here. Yeah, it would be easier to see for this guy. You can see details of the person as well as details of culture fit. So you get to see their previous job expectations and their answer all in one single field, right? So this is just basically a simple script where we'll be taking the table name, right, the field names, right, which is the column name, right? Taking all of the column names and merging all of its values together, right? All of the field values together into a long string, right? As you can see right here. Right. So this makes it a lot easier for the hiring managers, etc., to screen through the person that they're interviewing, for example. Right? It won't be so cluttered with name, role, applied, email. It's just all in one field, right? So they can just see through everything at one glance. So what this automation basically does is that each time a form is submitted, they'll run this script and they'll update the record, right? They update this field, details of person with this, right? They'll update all of this inside this field, which is details of person, right? I'll be putting this script down below, but do keep in mind for this script to work, you need to have these fields exactly the same as the field that you have inside your table. And under here, you need to have all of these fields as the same name inside your table, right? So for example, if it's name, its name is role applied to, right? But in this case, it's role applied name, for example. And for this, you also need to create a new input, right? Add input variable, right? Where person record ID, you need to copy this, you need to put this in here, and the value will be Airtable record ID, right? Yeah, so you need to create this one in addition to writing this script. I'll be including this in the description below. And yeah, that's about it. That pretty much sums up our hiring automation, where hiring managers now just look through this this dashboard to screen through them, right? After clicking approve or reject, their hiring managers are able to see who they have screened through, and move on to the later stages. So this is very much the hiring automation that we've built for a few of our companies, right? So it actually takes what most companies do manually, like sorting applicants or emailing them, scheduling for interviews, into a rather smooth process, and it's in a much cleaner interface that they can easily screen through and read about the person's details, for example, right? So all in all, this hiring automation actually helps companies hire faster and also creates a better candidate experience, right? And it gives HR a lot more time to focus on culture and not just the administrative work. So I hope you learn something, or at least you learn about what you can actually do with this Airtable automations, or even automations in general from this video. If you'd like to see more automations, right, do comment below so that we can build accordingly for you. And yeah, happy automating. Thanks for watching. Thank you.